Welcome. Thank you for joining us for the prospective student session for the Fowler School of Engineering. My name is Tom Yoda. I'm the Dean of the Fowler School of Engineering, and I'll be doing some of the presentation today, talking about our school and some of the things at our school. Again, thank you for your interest in the school. We have a lot of other people that are here to answer some of your questions also. I'm going to let some of them introduce themselves because we can be, since we're a smaller group here, we can be somewhat informal. I'm going to start with Adina. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Of course. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining today. My name is Adina Hamlin. I'm the manager for student success for the Fowler School of Engineering. I've been at Chapman almost 10 years, and I was here when we first started Fowler Engineering. I'm very proud of this school, and we have a lot to offer, and you'll be able to hear from some of our students as well today. So thank you guys for joining, and please, even if you have questions right now, you can go ahead and throw them in the chat. We'll be answering those at the end of the presentation.
Hillary, you want to go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Hillary Anderson, and I am the graduate program manager in the Fowler School of Engineering for our brand new electrical engineering and computer science master's program. We have a traditional and an integrated track, also known as a 4+1. I've been at Chapman as a staff member for 12 years and a proud alum. So happy to have you all here and to answer questions. Kelsey, do you want to go?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Kelsey. I am a senior data science major and business minor, and I am actually part of the integrated master's program that Hillary just mentioned.
Okay, Kelsey, I'm going to put you on the spot and answer one question for us. What's your favorite thing about being a Chapman student?
Ooh, I would say the community for sure. Since all of my class sizes are pretty small, I've been able to build really strong relationships with all of my teachers and even faculty members that I haven't even had classes with. So that's just something that I love. Everyone is just really approachable, and it feels like a nice community that I literally live in the Keck building. So I'm there all the time and I see everyone almost every day. So it's quite nice.
Thanks, Kelsey. And then Sam, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Sam. I support all of our career resources here for our students. So if you have questions about anything in regards to your internships, getting your first job, and all of the basics in regards to developing your first resume or maybe improving upon your resume and supported with interview processes, like I'm here for all of that. I'm happy to answer any questions around that as well.
Great, Sam. I'm going to give a short presentation because I'm sure you all have a lot of questions, but it's always nice to be able to tell you a little bit about our school, what we think is great about our school, and just general information about the school. So let me share my screen here, and then I will. You all see that? Because I'm not sure what I'm seeing on my screen. Do you see that? Adina, can you say if you see that?
No, not yet.
Oh, geez. Okay. Let me do something real quick here. Sorry. It does this to me. Slideshow. Oh, I know what I gotta do. Sorry. My bad.
There we go. Perfect.
All right. Now we do it.
Good.
Now you should. Is it in regular slideshow mode or notes?
I think it's regular.
It looks
Okay,
like
good.
Notes. Okay.
Oh, it is. Okay, I gotta swap. Sorry. You would think the dean would have all this figured out, but apparently the dean is not. Okay, how about
You have
that?
a lot going on, Tom. It looks good.
I know.
Just
Okay,
have
okay, good. Okay. So there's our contact information. Follow us on Instagram. We have a really active Instagram that highlights a lot of our great activities going on in Fowler. It's a lot of fun to kind of see all that. So you heard from Kelsey. She's going to be one of the students speaking. We may have some other students joining us. They're actually in class right now. Kaylin, Diego, and Joel. They may be joining us in the latter part of the presentation to answer questions from you all also. So let me talk a little bit about what our program is in terms of the curricular side of things. Without going into the details of it, we kind of break it up into when you get here as a freshman, and we call this our common experiences for any student in any degree program. All the students as freshmen go through a common experience where it's an engineering 101 course in our Grand Challenges initiative. And this is an exciting part of our program because when you come here as a freshman student, you start right away on project-based learning and learning about engineering design, working on projects, and really getting and being able to kind of either design, innovate, build things, and learn through that whole process. That's something that we think is different. We don't want students to wait until they're seniors to be doing that. We want students as freshmen coming here and working on those types of projects and working in teams on those type of projects also. So that's part of the common experience that students get here, regardless of their major. And you can see our majors that are listed there. And then on top of that, we have curricular enhancements. And curricular enhancements is another innovation that we have in our curriculum, which aligns what we do with curriculum to what students need when they graduate and are career ready also. And we call these our 298s, our industry challenges, our corporate connections. But these are very much driven around what students need to be career ready. And it allows the curriculum to be very flexible also as things are new in industry, whether that's around AI or machine learning or other innovations that we hear industry telling us that they think students should be career ready around. And then lastly, on our own parallel paths, and what we like to refer to this as experiential learning, students have many opportunities to work on faculty research because there's these opportunities for students to learn and work closely with faculty. I have students that work, Elsie, who's in the call here today, is doing research with me right now. And many students do research with faculty. Independent research projects, you'll see our makerspace, some photos of that, where students can work on really interesting projects. And then as Sam mentioned, we love when students get internships and experience that are able to build their resume. All those things are really things that lead to building their resumes. And we think all of this combined really provides students a great experience here at Chapman in terms of when they finish here, the types of careers that they're able to pursue, and also the experience in the community that is formed too, as Kelsey had mentioned. Some of this I talked about, but we do like to talk about what differentiates us from other schools. And I really boil it down to three things. It's personalized education, but it's personalized growth. As Kelsey said, we have many opportunities for students to work closely with professors, but also for students to work and form communities, whether that's through clubs and organizations, whether that's through working together in teams. There's a photo there of our Society of Women Engineers. They just came back from a conference. We have a lot of student clubs and organizations that will spend a lot of time together, and those are great professional development opportunities, but they have a lot of fun also, and I think that's part of the personal growth. As I mentioned earlier, we think our curriculum is pretty innovative and is able to adapt. And as I said, when students come here from day one, it's project-based learning where they're really able to get their hands dirty, work in our makerspace, work on projects, and learn through that throughout the curriculum. And then the last part, as I said, experiential learning is something that students are able to do outside of their regular classes, whether that's through conducting research, working on hackathons, developing internships by working with career specialists, and all of that leading to career readiness, which is ultimately what we want students when they complete their degree programs here at Chapman. These are our faculty. We're really proud of our faculty and the work that they do in the classroom, the work that they do outside of the classroom. And as Adina mentioned earlier, we are now in our 5th year of starting up the Fowler School of Engineering. We continue to add faculty in our program, but we're, as I mentioned, we're really proud of the diverse faculty that we have in the Fowler School of Engineering. Half of our faculty are women, and that really represents also the diversity of the students that we see in our program too. So the basic degrees, you saw it earlier, but I'll put it up here again: computer engineering, computer science, data science, electrical engineering, and software engineering. Computer science many times ends up being the most popular degree, but certainly we're growing in the engineering fields. You know, there's a lot of opportunities for students when they get here to change majors if they find out that, you know, maybe you start out in computer science and you find out that computer engineering is what you want to go into also. The ability to do that is fairly easy when you get here. Many students have academic minors, whether that's within the Fowler School of Engineering or outside the School of Fowler Engineering. Just about all the students that are on our panel today have either double majors or minors. And these are the minor fields that we have within the Fowler School of Engineering. Game development is a very popular one. Our information security, cybersecurity are also very popular because those are fields that we hear are really important from industry. And then lastly, as Hillary Anderson mentioned, we just started our master's program this year, which is exciting for students that come here as bachelor students. They can be part of our accelerated 4+1 program, where if they decide when they're completing their bachelor's degree, if they want to spend one more year, they can complete their Master's of Science degree here at Chapman as part of the integrated program. So just real quickly, in terms of our facilities and our home, as Kelsey said, she lives inside the space. This is our Keck Science Center. More specifically within the Keck Science Center is the Swenson Hall that you're looking at a picture of. It's a great facility. It just opened about 5 years ago. Swenson Hall, the engineering side of it, opened 2 years ago. So it's a brand new facility and it's beautiful, and you'll see some pictures of it. This is the ideation zone. The ideation zone is a space where it's very flexible in terms of how it's used. It's in this picture, you'll see students studying in there, and other times it's used as a seminar space. Once in a while, we may have classes in there. So it's a very flexible space. The idea is that it's for students to be able to work and study and really have as their space on the first floor there. We have small study spaces too on our first and second floors. The students are always able to use as they study further classes. The Design, Create, and Innovate Lab, or the DCI Lab, is what you may many times hear about as a makerspace. It's an incredible facility that has a lot of different either 3D printers in there, laser cutters, other facilities that allow you to do advanced manufacturing in there, depending on what you want to create in your different projects. It's probably the most popular space in the Swenson Hall for our students. Pretty much from the time it opens in the morning to the time it closes at night. You'll see students in there. They have workshops that train you on how to use all the equipment. So they really do a great job in terms of getting you ready to work on projects and use the space also. Then we also get incredible use from across campus for the space also. Probably half the students that are using it are from outside of engineering. More pictures of the DCI lab and all the fabrication facilities that we have in there. Like I said, students use it so much. Sometimes they will be making gifts when we ended the semester at Christmas time. I remember going there on the Friday after finals were done, and students were making Christmas presents in there. So it's really something that we want students to use, both for projects, but sometimes using it for personal uses too, which is fine. We love to see the students that excitement around it. And this is the tech shop side of it, where we have a lot of advanced electronics for students to work on their projects. And then we also have robotics around there too. On the bottom there, you see our Spot robotic dog, which can be used for advanced sensing in places that are hard to get to. It's got an arm on it that can be used for picking up things. And a Spot is always popular when he's out walking around among the students. They love getting their pictures taken with Spot anytime he's out. And then lastly, a couple of the other classroom and lab spaces. This is our circuits lab, where those students are in electrical and computer engineering, maybe some of their circuits labs up in there. Sometimes you'll see lectures in there, and then other study spaces. Here's some pictures from the building. And then these are some of the study spaces. We have small huddle and small conference rooms that are bookable for students when they want to work together, or either individually or in teams, and share their work on screens. That's all available for them. And we have small kitchen on the second floor for students. If they need to bring some food and they want to put it in the refrigerator, they can put it in there. And then, of course, as I mentioned earlier, we work very closely with a lot of different industry sponsors that hire our students, hire them as interns, support the university. This is just a few of those. We continue to grow this because these are incredibly important for us understanding how our curriculum is, but also more importantly, where our students go work and do internships. And then just a few final things. Scholarships are always very important to think about, and also other financial support. We offer various scholarships that are determined based on financial need. This is a list of some of those. Whether that's merit-based scholarships, need-based scholarships, industry scholarships that are focused around certain disciplines. And then we also have a very popular program, which is our laptop assistance program, for students that have a need for laptops, and they can get, if they apply for it and they're accepted into that, they will get a laptop for their use during their time here at Fowler School of Engineering. So a couple final important tips as you're thinking about this, whether it's this coming year or in following years. You must be a declared student with engineering major when applying to Chapman to qualify for any of the scholarships I just applied. So I just showed, so that's important. Then you've probably heard this before, but it's always good to remember this. Get that FAFSA application in to qualify for any engineering scholarships. You're not eligible unless you have your FAFSA application filled out with FAFSA, so they know your financial need. So that I am gonna close out, and then I don't know. It looks like there might be a few questions in the chat. Let me stop sharing my screen here.
So we do
Alright.
have 4 of our students on the call, and I do have a direct message, so not everybody could see it, but Aisha would like to know, could you please speak a little bit about the dorms? Are the engineering dorms separate from the others? And then are freshmen allowed to have a single room if they choose to do so? So either Kelsey, I don't know if you've lived in the dorms. No, Kaylin? No, she lives off campus. How about Joel or Diego? Would you guys be able to speak on that?
We're all commuters.
You're all commuters?
Mhm.
Okay, well,
I'm pretty sure, because my daughter went here, she wasn't dense. I'm pretty sure the students and the other Joel and Gabe maybe otherwise, but I'm pretty sure they try to put students, there's not necessarily like a separate dorm for engineering, but they do try to put students in either the dorms and floors by majors. Like my daughter's a dance major and he was in a floor where all the College of Performing Arts students were. So in general, they try to do that. There may be a little bit of variation there, but there's not like a separate dorm for engineering. I don't know if Cameron or Joel or Diego, you want to add to that?
Some of my friends have spoken on it, like they have lived on the same floor. So like you said, you're gonna be with the same kind of people, but just on the same floor, just not in a separate dorm.
are you allowed
Good question.
single rooms? I think there's 2, right, in a room?
Yeah, I remember for our year it's 3 per room, but they might have changed that and it might move back to 2. But
I think
yeah,
it
it's 3
depends.
for your year.
Sometimes,
Yeah, it depends.
I know someone who, as a freshman, was able to have a single room, but I think that situation was unique to that first year student.
Yeah.
The next question I have, which I've already answered, but another question says, is filling the FAFSA required even for merit scholarships? And no, it is not. You do not need to fill out the FAFSA if you just want merit-based scholarships. So that would be like presidential, provost, and then we have 2 that are internal, the Fowler, which is just the general Fowler engineering merit-based scholarship, as well as the higher right scholarship. So those are just merit-based, not having nothing to do with financial need. So no, you do not, but you do have to be an engineering major to receive engineering specific scholarships. And then another question I have is, are SATs or ACT scores required for college admission here? I'm not sure. Does anybody know that?
Just put the information in the chat. So, and I can add the link. So Chapman University's undergraduate programs have a test optional policy. But that isn't to say students that are applying have possibly already taken the SAT or ACT as part of their application.
Great.
Thanks, Hillary. While we're waiting for more questions, I'll give you all a chance to ask more questions because I asked Kelsey this question. So now that Joel and Diego and Kaylin are here, tell us briefly, you can introduce yourself if you want, and then tell us briefly what you like most about being a Fowler School of Engineering student. Kaylin, you want to start?
Sure, I can start. So, hi, I'm Kaylin Richardson. I'm a software engineering major and a information security and policy minor, which is basically cybersecurity. I also work here in our makerspace, so that's pretty fun. But for me personally, I did not know Chapman existed when I first was applying. So I kind of like just drove by around like Orange area. And was like, oh, that's a college campus. So I walked in and did a tour of the engineering building, and it was kind of like not like destiny, but I like fell in love with the campus and just like the whole engineering building as a whole. Just walking through the first floor. And so I think that whole first floor experience from when I walked in, then kind of explained why I work here in the makerspace. Our makerspace is on the first floor. And I absolutely love working here. So if anything, that kind of experience from the beginning has been what I love here most, is the accessibility to our makerspace and the availability of not only Adina and Tom and everyone else in the Dean Suite, but just the whole like Fowler community as well. So
Or Diego, you want to add or introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Joel. I'm a computer science major, computer engineering minor, and information security and policy minor. What I love most about, I guess, Chapman and Fowler was just the class sizes and the connection that I made with like the faculty and then my like fellow students. So when I was looking for universities, my top two choices were Chapman and Fullerton. So at the time, I was still debating between because they both gave me like really good financial aid packages. But I just thought about like the experience my older brother had when he went to Fullerton and the experience that I wanted to have. And it was a lot harder for him to really talk with the professors and really meet other people because it was so big. And so as I was deciding, I realized that I really want that kind of like connection and community. And Fowler really has that, which I really enjoyed. I was able to meet so many friends, actually meet professors that know my name. So yeah, that's why I really like Fowler.
I'm Diego. I'm a second year computer engineering major and information security and policy minor. I would say the one thing I like about Chapman is its community. Honestly, like after my first semester, you build such a tight knit like community within Fowler, especially because you kind of like the first semester you meet everyone, and then the second semester you end up having a class like with like almost the same people, and so like you just go on and on into each semester like feeling more comfortable with everyone and just being able to like have that communication, especially with the professors. Like how Joel said, you have like you know them on a first name basis, like on a day to day. Yeah.
Great, thanks.
We do have a question. It says to require scholarship for my major prominently has to be engineering. How would that be determined if I am still in high school? So when you apply to Chapman, you would have to apply and be accepted under one of those 5 engineering majors. So that would be how it's determined. And and I check every semester. So if you come in as a computer science major, but you really wanted to be English, and then you change over, the scholarship is removed. So you do have to stay an engineering major in order to receive that money throughout your 4 years or 2 years here, depending on if you're a transfer student. I hope that answered your question. And then how many students are enrolled at the engineering school? It's about 650. Is that correct, Tom? Elizabeth, I know is on the
Yes.
call as well. Okay. Um,
And do you have I thought I saw it on your board, Adine. Do you have the breakdown by major?
I do. I'm gonna turn around because it's on my board. So computer science is about 60%. Every other major fills up 10% each. So computer engineering, electrical engineering, data science, and software engineering, it's about 10%. Computer science 60%, and that's based off of the incoming class from the fall of 2023. Let's see, what else do we have?
I know there's a question there about students use Apple or Windows or other computers. Does the department have a recommendation? As far as I know, we don't have recommendation of Windows or Mac. I think actually as part of our laptop assistance program, don't we have both?
We do. As part of the laptop assistance program is only, so we do have a scholarship just for laptops, and those are all MacBooks with the highest specs. If you come to Chapman and you did not apply for the laptop assistance program, there is also opportunity to basically like rent a laptop for the semester, and we have Macs and Dells to choose from for just the semester rental. But if you are part of the program, you actually get to keep the computer once you graduate. It's yours to keep. So make sure if you've applied to Chapman and been accepted, you've probably received a text or an email from the Office of Admissions with that link to apply. If you need that, let me know. You can just message engineering@chapman.edu. I put that in the chat as well. If you need any information regarding that program.
For student experience, for the laptops, I do know a lot of students use Macs, because that is kind of like, not like the staple here, but because it is offered through that financial aid or scholarship option. I do know a lot of people who also use Windows, but mostly of them, they do use Macs.
I do have a question from Taylor. It says, can you share if Chapman requires the high school A through G courses? I'm not sure what that is. And then does it depend on major? Also, is there a GPA requirement? Also, any difference in requirements applying from California or out of state? And then how many students are in Fowler and engineering majors? So I think I answered that last question, but if anybody knows the other questions or answers.
A
So-
through G,
Oh.
or go ahead.
It says here that recommended classes for students similar to A through G requirements for University of California, California State University schools, and then there's information. So I can link that in the chat regarding like steps when applying for an application. So stay tuned.
Yeah, it's not, A through G is not a requirement, just a recommendation. I think that's a UC requirement, the A through G. There is no GPA requirement also, but it's always good to look up to see in the incoming, and they post this publicly, to look up what the average was from the incoming class from the previous year.
Okay, and then another person asked about the GPA requirement is 3.75. I don't know that for sure. I've seen lower been accepted with other kind of curricular activity. It really depends. The engineering school is a little bit different. We're looking for, you know, kind of that passion and kind of what you write on your application more so than that 4.0. I will have to check on that, but I can look for that GPA requirement. Let's see. Oh, okay. She said she looked it up on Google.
Yeah, but Adina is correct. I mean, it's a holistic application. GPA is one consideration. The other activities that the applicant is involved in, showing either leadership or other things that they've done, is another consideration. And then fit, as the students respond to essay prompts that Chapman University asks them to respond to, is kind of the other consideration in there. All that is really something that students need to think about when they apply.
Anybody else have questions or?
Maybe because I saw several questions in there about commuting. And I know we have students that are commuters. Do you want to maybe comment on the experience as commuters?
Sure, I can comment on it. I recently just got an electric car, so one of the big things here at Chapman is that you can charge for free if you do have an electric car. So that's a plus. If you were to commute, I know there's like a small community that are like is commuters. I'm not sure if there's like a commuter club or something. I know during orientation there was like a commuter meetup or something. But I haven't seen them really carry out anything. As for Fowler commuters, I know like a lot of us know each other. And that's kind of like a known thing of like, hey, we commute. But that's pretty much it. Yeah.
And they, oh, go ahead, Kelsey. Go ahead, Kelsey.
Sorry. So I live off campus. I used to live in Chapman housing at Chapman Grand for about 2 years, and now I'm living off campus. I Found there's a lot of houses around here that are available for rent, and there is a Facebook community as well. That is how I found my current house that I'm living in. I do know a lot of people who are commuters, or if they live off campus in a house or apartment, there's a lot of them around here. So there's definitely not a shortage of places or apartments to live in off campus if you're looking for that. But I've had a pretty good experience with living in my house, and I walk my dogs to campus regularly.
I do have a question about career. If Sam can take that, do you have a career center that connects students with jobs? Sam, career specialist?
Yes, so great question. We actually do have a main career center, it's the Career and Professional Development Office. And so that office actually supports the entire campus. It's kind of like a central hub for that. But here in Fowler School of Engineering specifically, you cannot miss my office. It's literally right next to the door, and it's a giant glass wall, and you can see everything that I'm doing. And I have a open door policy. So anytime you have any questions, anytime you need support, you can always just knock on my door and ask away. As far as connecting students with jobs, the one thing I do want to, and I tell this to every single college student, no college will outright say, we will give you a job, right? Or get you a job no matter what. What we will definitely do is support you in making sure that you are prepared and help you in the process of being as successful as possible in landing your internships or career opportunities. And in some ways that we do that is by giving you opportunities. For example, in a week or a week and a half, we have our STEM and networking night, which is another opportunity where professionals can connect with each other. I do a series called Industry Insights. Last week, we just had one on Friday where somebody with a sales and business background came in and talk about how you blend your business acumen with your engineering experience to find a successful career. And then today, we actually just had our career fair, which there were different employers tabling all across, and you can go around, speak with them about internship opportunities. And then so we like to coordinate together with our students to really focus in on, what are the resources, and is your resume, updated? Do you have all the materials ready so that you really are equipped to pursue your professional careers, right? And represent yourselves in the best way possible. So that was a very long way of saying, yes, we do help you connect with jobs. But more importantly is teaching students how to understand how to navigate that on their own, because you're going to have to do that as a life skill.
I see a question there. It's a good question. Maybe we can hear from some of our data science and computer science students. Can you talk more about the kinds of projects that you work on as part of the curriculum, either part of the classes or outside classes, and some of your favorite things that you've worked on?
Sure, I can go. I'm not comp sci, but I'm software engineering, which is basically the same thing. The only difference between that is that comp sci has to take a lab class. So that's one upside of software. But as for the curriculum, I've so far taken Python, Java, and C++, as well as data structures, which is the step up from C++. As for projects, everything is kind of either in pairs or you do the projects all by yourself. And with that being said, they're not that difficult, but they do challenge you in a way that you have to practice things outside of class as well as pay attention in class. And as for my favorite so far, they're all pretty kind of difficult, but I think the one that has stood out the most and the one that I've put on mostly my resume and out online is one that is recreating what Super Mario Brothers is, and that's with the data structures of C++ class. It's kind of cool to see how Mario jumps from pipe to pipe or uses all those different things, but that one's pretty cool.
Kelsey, you want to share?
I can also
Or
share.
Joel?
Yeah. So, I mean, basically for every class that you're gonna take, you should have at least one project, whether it's like a big one or a small one. It depends on like I guess the level of difficulty. It's more about just tying in the concepts about like every, I guess, section or chapter that you're doing in. So I guess most recently in our data communications class, we have a small project about, I guess, just server communications using different was it like TCP and UDP? Yeah. The different kind of transport layers basically. And I guess for me, in terms of like the favorite project, it would be for like algorithm analysis that I had to take, where we just converted like some NFA to DFA. You'll learn it if you're in comp sci, you'll take it. It's a lot of fun.
Going off of what Joel said, sorry, Kelsey. Also in the data communications class, we are working with Spotify developers. So we're working on a project that is now using that API.
Very cool.
Yeah, those classes are all really cool. I've taken all of them. And Kaylin stole what I was going to say. I was going to say the Mario project and data structures. But as I am a senior, I've taken a lot of the upper division courses that are required. And I would say a lot of those are my favorite because they get into more detailed about the subject. For example, the class that made me want to be a data science major was actually called Intro to Data Science, and I am now the TA of the class. So if you can't tell that I love it, then there you go. And I would say one of my favorite projects was actually one of my underdivision classes. It's applied business analytics, and my teacher really wanted to foster our growth and if we wanted to take on a little bit harder of a project, we could. So I built a machine learning model for doing, I think it was shareholder report analysis using BERT, which is Google's language model, which was very cool. So what's great about these classes is your professors are not only just going to give you a rubric and a project, they are going to foster growth, and they want you to learn and use what you learned in the class. So these are all things that you could put on a portfolio or brag to your friends about, or just be proud of, and even take on something a little bit harder if you communicate with them. So that's one thing that I really love about taking these classes.
Cool.
I also
you.
want to add on to that. Kind of based on the project side, they are challenging. They do challenge you a lot, but they are very doable. You just have to start on time, because if you start like probably like a week into like before the project's due, you're gonna be in like putting in some hours on working on some code, but they are very manageable and doable if you don't procrastinate. So yeah.
All right. Thanks for sharing.
There
Hillary,
was
you want to answer the graduate question?
Sure thing. So thank you for asking the question about the 4+1, also known as the integrated program for our master's program in electrical engineering and computer science. So it's a combination program. But don't let that deter you, because we have a number of software engineering, computer engineering, electrical engineering, data science, and computer science majors, and even minors that applied to the program and were admitted. So while the name is electrical engineering, computer science, we still offer classes for students interested in computing systems, data science, electrical engineering. So it's definitely a program that we encourage students to explore. And while there is a foundation of engineering principles and ethics and leadership with communication verbally and written, there's also technical classes that would definitely adhere to students from the various majors that Fowler offers. So I can put a link in the chat of the homepage if you're interested in exploring the webpage. And then, is there a separate application for admission? Yes. So eligible students typically in their junior year would be able to apply. And then if they're admitted, they would start taking master's level classes with any remaining bachelor's classes their senior year. And then whatever they're able to take during their senior year, max 15 graduate units, then they would take remaining graduate units in that +1 year as a graduate student.
I see a question there about hearing from students who are taking electrical, mechanical engineering classes. We don't have mechanical engineering. We do have electrical engineering, although we do have some faculty that have some mechanical engineering backgrounds, because some of the things that we do, like for instance, in the area of robotics and biomechanics, it bridges over into that. We don't have a separate mechanical engineering degree, but we do have electrical engineering classes. We don't have any students that are separate electrical engineering students on the panel. But the closest is probably, I'm going to put Diego on the spot since he's a computer engineering student. Diego, have you taken any electrical engineering classes?
Yeah, the first electrical engineering class I took last semester. It was Circuits 1, Electronics and Circuits 1. Honestly, it's a really fun class because like right away, I think on the first day you start building like a very simple circuit, and it's just like super introductory level. And so you kind of, that class is like the foundation for every other electrical engineering class. And it like I'm taking digital logic right now as well, and it builds off of those the electrical engineering 200 class. But they're really fun and they're really manageable.
I want to add on, I guess, in terms of like, I guess, mechanical engineering, we do have like fabrication classes. So I know me, Diego, and Kayla took one of the 298s, which is like the 1 unit classes that is all about like designing and I guess modeling certain like, I guess just different objects basically. And then we like CNC milled, we laser cut them, we 3D printed. So it was a really good experience of just learning how to use different softwares for just modeling basically.
Yeah, I was gonna tag on to that, Joel. Something cool here, like I keep on mentioning, is our makerspace is available for all students. So we do have a manufacturing lab, a prototyping lab, and a tech shop. So the tech shop is more of like a study space where students can come in and sit, socialize, whatever. But they also have, say, electronic benches. So students are able to then solder or use those electronic benches to then create whatever they want to use that they have made in the manufacturing or the prototyping labs. And the manufacturing lab, like Joel said, is where the laser cutters and the CNC machines are housed. And that manufacturing or design for manufacturing course is also one that is offered in the 298 curriculum, as well as a PCB design course, which is taught by the same professor for the manager of the makerspace. And that PCB course, you get to design your own PCB on Autodesk, make your own PCB, and solder your own PCB. So then you get to use computer software, the machinery, and then get that hands-on experience through whatever you can use in the makerspace. So even though we don't have a mechanical engineering degree or classes, you do have access to the as well as the materials or the machinery that not a lot of other mechanical engineering colleges may have. So there's my whole spiel.
Hey,
I'd
thanks for
like
adding.
to add one thing. So in the chat, there's actually suggested 4-year plans that prospective students can click on the drop down just to see as options, to see what a 4-year like schedule would look like. So that's in the chat. And then she's not on this call today, but we do have a dedicated academic advisor that's housed within the Fowler School of Engineering, and her name is Brittany Ferguson, and she works and meets with as many Fowler students as possible to make sure that they're on track for their classes, graduation, and really works around block scheduling and GE requirements, and assists in those realms when it comes to advising. And then the more in-depth advising are our student peer advisors, as well as Dr. Stevens and Dr. Lindstad, as well as other faculty coordinators linked with specific majors.
Yeah, thanks for including that, Hillary. As you can see, our students are incredible ambassadors for the program. A lot of times they probably know more about some of the things going on than I do, which is pretty great to see. 3 of our students, and this is a little plug for one of the things that we have now, we have something called the Fowler Circuit, which is our student leadership group. Joel, Diego, and Kaylin are all on the Fowler Circuit, which is really a great group. And this is what they do, is serve as ambassadors for the Fowler School of Engineering, and they're doing a great job of that, as is people like Kelsey, who's now in our integrated program. There's another question here about double majors. Are double majors with engineering allowed? I think the short answer is yes. And I think all of our students either are double majoring or majoring minors. So do you guys want to all go through that? Kelsey, you want to start?
First, I just want to make sure that you understand you can double major or minor within the Fowler School of Engineering, but there cannot be a certain amount of crossover. So basically, if you have electrical engineering and computer engineering so similar, you cannot double major with those two. But you would need, I believe it's in the course catalog of what you can and you cannot combine. A lot of the majors and minors will have a lot of overlap. So you cannot do a computer science major and a computer science minor. We really want you to get, the whole breadth of knowledge through the Chapman, the different majors and minors offered throughout the entire school. So I know a lot of them on the call right now have majors and minors within Fowler, but I know a lot that have a major in Fowler and then one in music and one in Dodge, or whatever the case is. And we highly encourage that as well. But you guys can speak on your majors and minors. I just wanted to preface that.
Yeah.
So I'll start. I'm a data science major and business minor. Those are 2 different schools. I actually used to be a business major and analytics minor, but I flip-flopped them when I quickly realized that the data science major was way better fit for me. I do know there are some popular combinations of that for double majoring. I do have a friend doing data science and business as double majors, so that's very possible. I would just warn, if you wanted to do a double major, to always meet with your advisor as early as possible. But as with anything, they can help you with almost everything when it comes to academic planning.
Kaylin, what's yours?
My minor is information security and policy. So again, like cybersecurity. I was gonna double major in business, but then that's like a credit load. So software engineering is quite a lot. I do know a lot of people who are double majoring in, like I said, a Fowler major and a business major, or doing a business minor. And I do know a lot of people who are doing Dodge. So you can do something that is a complete 360 from engineering as well.
I guess like if you're planning on double majoring, figure out if you can like graduate on time with that second major, because I don't think you can do like comp sci and like chemistry in 4 years, which is just, I think, impossible. So just try and make sure that you plan everything out and talk to your advisors. I'm doing computer engineering and information security and policy as 2 minors. So I talked with my advisors, and it is possible to do very similar Fowler minors. You just have to make sure that you get enough unique credits, which is on the catalog.
Yeah, just like Joel said, it is very hard to do like 2 heavy majors. But one thing that I see a lot is a lot of people like just minoring in that other heavy major, and just I've also seen like a lot of double minors. But one of the things that I was gonna do was I was gonna minor in a music minor, just because like the engineering major is so like heavily involved with yourself, and like it kind of gives you an outlet into something different, like into a different world. Like you're able to peek into a different kind of way of thinking. Yeah.
And then for that question where it says like, do you have to apply to double major? I mean, once you're accepted with that major, you could just add it on later. There's some majors that you do have to like apply for, like graphic design needs like a portfolio, but it all depends on the major that you're trying to actually apply for.
Yeah, and that second major or minor you would do after you're here. You wouldn't do that coming in applying for double major. All right, I think we answered all the questions. Let's see if there's any. I don't think there's any others. It's been really good. Like I said, we have incredible students, we have incredible staff that you've heard from today, incredible faculty that you work with. It's like the dream team here, right? You know, they are really great and they support our students in an incredible way. If there's no other questions, please follow us on Instagram as Kaylin just posted. Thank you, Kaylin. Feel free to reach out to us at engineering@chapman.edu. We'd be happy to answer any questions. Dina, do you have any other last words before we close out?
No, thank you for spending your Thursday from 3:30 to 4:30 with us. We appreciate your time, and any questions, like I said, middle of the night, you're like, oh, wow, I forgot to ask that. Just go ahead and send it to engineeringchapman.edu. Sometimes I might just answer it at 11:30 at night, but most of the time it's during work hours. But yeah, just send any question you have. No question's a dumb question. You know, we all are learning all the time. So bringing stuff up even today has helped us. So I just appreciate you guys being on the call. Thank you.
All right, thanks everyone. Have a great day.